Hi everyone, welcome again to MGS Coaching Football, and thank you for watching my channel. I do really appreciate it. Today in this presentation, continuing on my Cover 10 3-match circuit, I'm going to show you how 3-match Cover 10, can cover a concept that we call Oklahoma or the fade out concept, okay, on both the match side as well as the zone side. And so I'm going to draw it up for you here against the 2x2 11 formation that we call Dallas. But first, I'll go through the key terms as to whose responsibilities are what on the match side versus the zone side, and then I'll go through the ins and outs, the particulars in the diagram relative to the concept itself, and how we defend it and why. Okay. So again, Cover 10 3-match versus 2x2, the Oklahoma concept. First up on the match side, right? The dime, our outside linebacker, will take number 2 out, right? Because he's got 2 vertical or 2 out, right? So what we're saying here is there's no exchange, right? So therefore, the field corner has number 1 vertical, and again, without an exchange, he's going to stay with 1 vertical. The backer is going to match number 3, and so I'll give you all the different scenarios that pertains to it, okay? Because there won't be a thunder call coming. There's not a lightning call coming, right? And then the free safety is going to spin middle, making the carry call, okay, which means the number 2 opposite. And so when you see that number 2 does not go vertical, he's going to play the middle third, and the coaching points we give him then. So then on the zone side here, the rover, now he's the read rush guy. So I'll go through those particulars. The Mike is, remember, zone side, so he's hook curl or he's going to dabble combo number 3. Okay. The boundary corner is the deep third defender on the zone side, cluing number 2. So when he sees he only has 1 vertical in his third, he'll stay tight to number 1. And then the whip, the other safety, is going to screw down and be the curl flat defender, and he's going to screw down on the snap. And if there's no curl or flat threats, then he'll dabble with number 3. Okay, but there is going to be a flat threat, so that'll involve the whip. Okay. So a couple of things first. So non-subscribers, I'm hoping to tease you into pushing the button. It's a Liz call, which automatically means this side, the left side's the match side, and the right side's the zone side, right? Remember how we simplified it? So if it's Liz, the safeties are screaming Roger, 2x2, they're spinning away from the match side or the Liz or rip. Okay, so that takes care of that. So let me just draw up now what we call the Oklahoma concept. I know a lot of people call it flat out, and there's various things you call it. All right, number 1 goes vertical. Number 2 does an out. The distance can vary. It's typically anywhere from 4 to 6 yards, roughly. Sometimes maybe a little bit quicker. Okay, and it's going to be the same on both sides. Okay, so there we go. So that's the concept. So now, right, first of all, please remember that the uncovered lineman on each side is the surface key for our drop defenders, right? Our linebackers and secondary. So when they show pass, they're screaming pass, right? He's already in his outside shade. He starts spinning to the middle. Whip starts screwing down. I'll come back to them. Okay? So he doesn't hear anything. He's going to take a quick little pivot to see if thunder's coming, number 2. And plus he's listening. No thunder call. He's going to match number 3, so we'll come back to that. Okay? So first up, what are the rules for our match defender? Well, he's got number 2 vertical or out. So as he's reading the route, keeping his outside leverage to carry, it becomes an out. He jumps on top of the out. And now he's got to carry it through the zone. If that turns into a wheel, he carries it. Okay, he's tempo pedaling, working to carry, right? Keeping outside leverage as well as vertical leverage so he can see the ball thrown. So that takes care of that. Now, as he's rotating to the middle, he's got eyes on number 2, and when he sees 2 go out, he now balances up, okay? Gets as deep as he can, continues to tempo, head on a swivel, reading quarterback indicator, because in Division III college football, those quarterback indicators lock on pretty fast. There's not a lot of going from the 1 to 2 read to the 3 read to the 4th, right? That doesn't happen very often. So that will take care of him. So now over here on the zone side, on the snap, the whip screws down, reading his open surface key. If it says run, then he fits in at sky support. But pass, now his eyes go 2 to 1. So when he sees 2's going out, he's going to work out, but getting his eyes to 1, looking for the potential curl, because when you're a curl flat defender, you sit under the curl, making the quarterback throw the shorter out. So then you rally up to the out. So when he sees that 1's gone, now he jumps that out. Okay, the boundary, tempoing, cluing number 2, right? That's why he clues 2. Sees there's an out. Now he works to carry that vertical. Becomes a post. He's on top of it. Right corner. He's on it. That's his deep third. He's got it. Boom, done. So now all that leaves, right? We've got the 2 outs covered. We've got the verticals covered with a middle third safety scanning the field. So now we've got our Mike and our backer, right? There's no hook. There's no curl. And there's also no combo because he's got to take the out. So now these 2 guys end up in what we call a maybe. The 2 inside linebackers, because of the route, this is all part of the match concept. Because of the routes, they're left to now combo the back, number 3. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to come back to that. Let me first get to the read rush of our rover. The first thing the rover does on that tight end is he's throwing hands, he's knocking back. Always knocking back. He doesn't see that, so he's more listening to other defenders around him screaming past, not to mention this guy you've been getting the face full of on every run. Well, now the guy can't get away from you fast enough, right? So the bells and whistles go off. So after he's done rerouting the tight end, okay, if we have nothing else called, then our 2 defensive ends are in what we call outside cage, right? So even knowing that he's a potential 4th rusher, this guy might do that. This is the read part of read rush. So if the rover sees same color there, then he'll dip underneath, be the inside rusher. If knowing that he's going to rush, he took the inside B gap charge, now our rover would become the outside cage rusher. It's real simple. We tell the rover, you make the DN right, man. Right? If you run into him, that's your fault, not the DN's. So that's what we mean by the read. He's either going to be outside or he's going to be looping inside. Okay, boom, done. Either way, we got a nice 4-man rush. It's built into the coverage. So now let's get back to this. Okay, they're going to match number 3. So if 3 comes to the backer and he's in protection, that equals what we call key rush. He will now add to the rush. His key's telling him that. Go rush. And if it's a screen, you peel off. He goes away from you, that tells him to mirror the quarterback. So the concept, the offensive concept that we've matched, right? We have a 5-man rush now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with a mirror on the quarterback. And that we didn't know that before the snap of the ball. but that's built into the defense. Pretty neat, right? Pretty neat. If number 3 were to flare, then the back would go chase him. He'd still mirror. Number 3 went out, then he'd go out with him. He'd still mirror. And flip it if 3 went to the right. Okay? So that's how cover 10 3 match covers the concept that we call Oklahoma, which I know I mirrored it on both sides just to show you how it's covered on both the match and the zone side, even though quite often offenses don't mirror on both sides. So again, I thank you for watching MGS Coaching Football. I do really appreciate it, and I hope you push that subscribe button.